Your boy got a fat exhaust ticket. Let's talk about it. Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Obviously, things could be a little bit better because a lot of you guys got confused what happened last time, and I guess I was so full of adrenaline I kind of forgot to explain things. So right off the bat, a lot of you guys were confused on why I got pulled over last time, why I decided to pull over, among various other things. So I feel I need to explain a little bit before we jump into today's video. We have a lot to do. Yes, I came to California with the intention and low-key kind of wanting to get pulled over. Getting pulled over pays the bills for me. I feel like it's a pretty open secret. I post videos to the internet, make a living off of it. Getting pulled over usually pays pretty well. And I think that's a good thing. I can make a living off of pulling over for the cops rather than running from the cops and doing all that stupid stuff. I feel like that's the best version of this reality. Going out and having fun on a motorcycle, you're bound to run into something. I just feel very fortunate I can go out on my bike, get pulled over, and make a living off of it. However, my intention was not to get pulled over for doing over 100 miles an hour. And that's where the stupidity kind of comes in. And that's why in that video, I was like super apologetic to the cop. A lot of people were telling me I should have like told the cop like, F off basically, which the guys, like, listen, I'm not the hugest fan of cops either. I've had my fair share of really crappy cops in the past, but in a situation where I'm so clearly in the wrong, especially doing 100 miles an hour in an area I should not have been doing 100 miles an hour, I'm just gonna try to be as nice as possible and hopefully the cop takes mercy on me, which he did, luckily. Another thing that people were telling me, like why didn't I run? Again, I feel like this is pretty self-explanatory. First of all, it's a motorcycle cop. I'm not gonna run from a freaking motorcycle cop. I'm really trying to avoid getting into a whole spiel because I don't want this to be the majority of my video here. But I think we can all kind of realize that speeding is bad. If you're speeding, you are the bad guy. You kind of deserve whatever's coming to you. However, it's something I'm still going to do. It's a motorcycle. I'm still gonna go out and have my fun. I just forgot the important lessons that I've learned over the years, which is don't speed around people. It's not that hard. If you don't speed around people, usually you won't run into a cop and you'll be fine, which is why I don't usually get caught for speeding. I usually get caught for stupid stuff, which is what I was hoping to get pulled over for, but that's just not how it shaked out. I am still super grateful that the cop only gave me an exhaust law ticket and didn't, take me to jail over a little bit of fun. Cops sometimes suck. I don't think this is one of them. I think he was just a dude who was fed up with the situation, but still took mercy upon me. So thank you, officer. You're super dope. Now, on to the problem at hand, which is now I have this exhaust ticket that I have to deal with a bike that I can't really revert back to stock. This is now the problem that I have to deal with. Because this is a one-off special edition motorcycle, as you guys know, I bought this a couple of months ago. I bought this bike used with only 800 miles on it, and it came with that exhaust already on. So I'm not really entirely sure how I'm supposed to revert this back to stock, considering I don't have the stock parts, and finding a stock exhaust for this bike may be more difficult than you think. Like for a regular bike, like my V4, I could just contact the dealership. They likely have one in stock. I can just throw it on there, show it to a police officer, be like, hey, I fixed it, right off the ticket. That's all, no harm, no foul. But I can't do that for this bike, so it's complicated. It's also tuned, and like the tuner's out in Florida. So I did a little bit of research, and so far what I'm figuring out is, hopefully, it might just be a higher fine. If I can't fix the exhaust, it might be upwards of $1,000, which sucks. Not gonna lie to you. Basically, if you can't fix it, you get charged a higher fine. So unless I can try to figure out, there might be a way where I can call the court and try to get it talked down, because again, this is an out-of-state motorcycle. I'm from out of state personally. I might be able to get it talked down to like maybe just $100 or $200, but I'm going to have to call the court. Luckily, I have until March 20th, it says on the ticket, to figure this out. So I have a little bit of time. I don't think this is something I'm gonna be going to jail over, but this is still potentially a $1,000 exhaust ticket for a bike that is not registered to California. A little stupid. Well, despite all of that bad news, we still have a couple of things that we have to do today, and mostly involves the bike that we got the ticket on. So as you guys know, I've been riding this bike around for quite a bit. I took this bike to Florida, rode it around, and I have not really done much to it ever since. And we are quickly approaching almost 3,500 miles. For reference, the last time I changed the oil on this bike was at 1,000 miles, and I generally like to change the oil on my bikes every 2,500 miles, so we're quickly approaching that number. I get there's gonna be some people that are gonna tell me that like, oh, if you change your oil before 3,000 miles, you're throwing away oil. Oil changes don't cost that much, in my opinion. They're generally under $100, and it does a lot to protect the motor on the bike, so I'd rather just do the oil changes a little bit early and guarantee that this bike is gonna last forever, especially considering that it's out of warranty. And this is one of my favorite motorcycles that is not being made anymore, so I wanna take care of it. The Ducati, on the other hand, we're gonna talk about that one. Turn on the little V4 key. There we go. We just recently crossed over 5,000 miles on the Panigale V4. If you guys remember when I first bought this bike, I bought this bike just about a year ago now when I came back from my other California trip last year. I kind of bought this bike on a whim. It was kind of a stupid decision looking back, especially considering I crashed one just, a couple months prior. But when I bought the second one, I told myself that I was not going to be riding crazy on it. This was going to be a bike that I wanted to try to test myself and put as many miles on it as possible. And so about 5,000 miles in a year, it's not terrible. It's not horrible. It's not anywhere near where I thought I'd be at this point. I thought I'd be well over 10,000 miles by now. But still, across every single motorcycle that I own right now, it's still one of the higher mileage bikes that I own. And I'm incredibly proud of it. She is starting to get like little imperfections. The paint is totally scratched up everywhere. There's paint chips all up in the front end of the bike. I know they're kind of hard to see on camera, but trust me, they're there. Especially the radiator fins on the bottom, the oil cooler is all getting chewed up. This bike is turning, unfortunately, into a used bike. Slowly but surely picking up all these little imperfections over the miles. It's impossible to keep a bike perfect when you ride it this much. It feels really cool because it's like a bike that I bought brand new, and seeing it age over time, like it's cool. I'm like growing with the bike, but it still makes me sad seeing a bike that I spent so much money on brand new, seeing it being used over time. It's a little bit bittersweet. But this bike still has another about 1,000, 1,500 miles left until another oil change. I did the oil change at 4,000 miles. I did that before coming to California, so this bike still has a couple of miles before it has to be done. However, today I really want to take care of this bike.
We're only about a 30-minute ride in traffic later. We are finally at Triumph San Diego. This guy's nodding to me. He's smiling.
So the goal, my intention of coming here is I wanted to grab oil for the Triumph. You could probably get away with just getting some like AutoZone oil and putting it in these bikes. It's probably gonna run fine. I just generally like if a motorcycle manufacturer is within reach, if I could just go grab the factory oil, I'm usually just gonna do that. It's not that much more out of the way than going to like an AutoZone, which is like 15 minutes away. This way I know I'm getting like the proper oil, the exact weight and amount of oil that I need for this bike. Plus, it's also a good idea to replace like crush washers and stuff that we'll get to later. San Diego is so bright out, dude. It's like I'm not used to walking around and it just blowing out my eyeballs. But check it out, bro. They got a Rocket 3 out front. It's got a license plate on it. 765. This is loosely based off of the exact same bike that I had. Although different swing arm, slightly different riding style. It's more of a naked bike, while mine's an actual sport bike. This is gonna be way more comfortable, but I usually opt for the sport bikes just because I'm me. They just look a little bit cooler, but this is a little bit more updated. It's got like LED lighting and things like that. That exhaust though, I don't believe would fit on my bike, so I'm not really sure what to do about that one. I gotta stealthily sneak into this dealership now. Howdy. I'm trying to get an oil change kit for a Daytona 765. Went in there, picked up all the oil that I needed. It was about $90. It's expensive, but it's still cheaper than getting somebody else to do it for me. Oil changes are a very easy process, but a sport bike makes it a little bit more complicated. Still nothing that I can't handle. And it's something I think you can handle as well. It does kind of suck we came all this way just to grab some oil, but like I'm literally almost downtown right now.
I feel like I'm riding around so concerned now that I'm like, I got caught doing something stupid once. That dude was so on my case, bro. I mean, rightfully so. I don't want you guys to think I'm like, I don't think I didn't deserve it, bro. Actions have consequences. When you have stupid actions, you're gonna get stupid consequences. It's just very nerve-wracking going to a place that you don't know very well, and then you get in a situation that you don't want to really be in. Again, situation of my own making, but regardless. It makes me just want to go back to Ohio and run away from here. I just feel embarrassed, man. I think that's what it is. I feel embarrassed that I'm causing a ruckus in a place that I don't really belong in. I don't belong here. So I'm kind of just spending the day, like I'm just cruising. I'm just going for a chill ride, appreciating the weather for what it is. Doing some side quest biker stuff that, you know, some work that needs to be done.
All right, so we grabbed the oil from the dealership. It's in a bag for some reason. I've never seen that before. But unfortunately, because I'm visiting California, I don't have all of the tools that I'm used to changing oil on a bike for. So we're gonna have to do a quick run to AutoZone to grab exactly what I need.
I decided to come to an O'Reilly's. It was a little bit closer.
So I ended up grabbing a pair of gloves, this nice little funnel, and a giant oil pan that we're gonna hopefully fit in here without breaking. As long as we fit most of it, it should be all right. Well, the work has unfortunately stalled out. I don't have the right wrench that I need to finish up the oil change on this bike, so I basically just tore the bike apart for no reason. Unfortunately, in California, I didn't bring all of my tools with me, so I think it's still sitting in my garage. Basically, this wrench, it won't fit onto there. It's unfortunate. Well, as you guys can tell by the outfit change, it is a new day. Sometimes with a project, you have to walk away from a little bit when you hit a little bit of a roadblock. Yesterday was one of those days. Luckily, however, your boy did a little bit of off-camera road tripping and got myself the tool that I need. So we should be able, in theory, to finish up today. However, we are going to be working around my friend's $100,000 car, kind of squeezing in right there, but we're going to figure it out. Well, yesterday was one of those days I just kind of had to walk away from recording for a little bit. It's not that recording these videos is difficult or anything like that, but it's just difficult to kind of pull what is in my subconscious to my conscious, that way I can say what I'm trying to say, at least in a meaningful way. And I think I was struggling with the topic matter that I've been dealing with. You know, some people are gonna probably watch this and be like, Matthew, like, it's just a ticket, like, it's not that big of a deal, which it's really not. You know, I don't think that's what I'm worried about here. I think it's just that, like, when you get a little bit older, I guess like the frontal cortex starts developing and you grow a little bit of a better like community conscious. I think when I was younger, like riding around, you go out for a ride, you kind of just you think of yourself as an individual that can't really be identified. You exist in this great area where there's like a million people, a million strangers around you. Like you just kind of float around, do whatever, and you're just this mystery person that other people will never see you again. But I think now that I'm a little bit older, I'm starting to realize like you do run into a lot of the same people over and over again. Gone are the days where you just kind of go out and float around and you're just like an anonymous person. I'm growing a little bit of a community conscious. It's something I see that's happening back home. Like there are people getting into bikes because they watch my videos, which is sick, it's dope. I'd like to see my hobby grow, but I kind of have to hold myself to a higher standard now that I don't really get to get away with the fun stuff that I used to be able to get away with. And it's hard. That's a hard thing to kind of come to terms with. I'm getting older in a way, and it's hard to accept that. And I think that just kind of made me depressed yesterday, like realizing that like gone are certain days that I can't ever get back. To me, motorcycling, the ultimate way to experience a motorcycle is to just have like a nice mountain road, some of your boys beside you, a bar on the top where you can go get food. I wish I could experience that every day. But unfortunately, every single day with bikes is kind of mundane. I guess that's kind of what this video is. It's not super hype, exciting. There's not like something crazy happening every single day you ride a bike. This is majority of what it looks like. It's not super exciting, not super flashy, but sometimes that's what you need too. And I guess it's just hard to accept.